just a fun fact about Athena. When I got her, it was like God guided. Her name was either going to be Athena, goddess of war, or Mercy, God's mercy. And then when I met her, she was obviously an Athena. That was going to be her name, Athena. And I do think it's interesting because both of these names are very profound. And when I do believe that my dog was sacrificed, I'm not like a victim, I'm not living in despair, but I do believe that she was offered as a sacrifice. Her name was either going to be Athena, goddess of war, or Mercy, representing God's mercy. And I think that getting the dog, bringing all this life into my life, was kind of a culmination of all the shitty things that I have experienced. Getting her was like, finally, things are not shitty anymore. Finally, I have this beautiful dog who loves me so much. Beyond that, what's interesting is when she was a puppy, there's a bee on my hand, and that's okay. I have like these bees that are coming around like crazy. When I got her, it's weird. Like, people think that I would be crazy for saying this, but I'm just gonna say it. Like, I have this like telepathy with animals, it seems. See? Bee. Um, she told me she was my mother. She told me telepathically, like, since she was a puppy, because I was like really excited to discipline this dog, train this dog. And she was like, no, 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 you're not going to do that. Like, I'm going to train you, basically. And she told me spiritually, she said, I am your mother. Like, my dog represented my mother in a sense. Not my biological mother. My biological mother is so wonderful. Spiritually, this dog represented my spiritual mother. And she told me that like telepathically since she was a puppy, because I was really excited to discipline this dog and train this dog. But this dog kept laughing at me, and she was like, no, 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 I am your mother. I'm going to train you. Like, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to be your guiding light. So it's funny how everything transpires. Athena's name was going to be Athena, Athens, Greece, if you know your history, or Mercy. Her name could have been Mercy, God's mercy. And when she was taken and killed and I found her dead, it was like symbolic of God's mercy running out. If you don't mind me saying, I mean, this is just my life, this is just my story, this is just my experience. These are just my beliefs. We're like kind of in a world where like all these beliefs are like trying to war with each other. Like, everyone's beliefs are trying to war against each other. But with the dog, like, my belief in the way that I got her, it was weird. She was the only puppy in her litter. Her mom only had one baby, and it was her. And the way that God brought her into my life was so interesting because it could have only been her. And when I found her, it was like, you're my dog. And I brought her into my world, and she was like, guess what? Like, I'm not your puppy. I'm actually your mom. Like, I'm going to train you. I'm going to train you up. And she did. She trained me up in a lot of ways. Her name became Athena, but it could have been Mercy. It was synonymous with mercy, God's mercy. And someone took her, killed her, sacrificed her, and then I had to come to some kind of agreement about my belief about what happened. And my ultimate decision was to God's will be done. God's will. My ultimate decision was I hate religiosity. I hate all of your religious beliefs. I hate all of it. I don't like any of it. I don't want any of it. It doesn't make any sense. God's will, God's mercy died the day that she died. And if you don't mind me saying, when people evangelize, if you don't mind me saying, like, this is so controversial, but the covenant with Christ comes to a close at some point. It really does. The covenant with Christ has to come to a close at some point. And the day my dog died, I felt like the covenant with Christ sort of died. So now when people evangelize, I just feel like these are empty words. If you don't mind me saying, because I have been evangelizing for years, and I think we're living in such a convoluted, controversial world that if you didn't get your wits about you at this point, you know, it's something different, right? It's something of the mark. It's something of a say. I don't want to say satanic because I think a lot of beautiful people and young people are still coming to their wits about them, but I don't believe the mark of the beast system is going to be the worst thing ever. Like, I think that there's a lot of beauty still left in the world, but I do kind of feel like the covenant with Christ came to a close, at least in my belief system, if you don't mind me saying, when the dog died. It was like symbolic of that. Because her name could have been Athena or it could have been Mercy. And I chose Athena because it was obvious to me that was her name. But her name could have been Mercy. And she represented in my life God's mercy. She also represented the spirit of my mother, my spiritual mother, not my biological mother. So when she was able to have been overcome, to me, spiritually, in my beliefs, if you don't mind me saying, it kind of closed a covenant in a sense. And it started a new covenant, but it closed a covenant in a sense. My dog didn't have to die for your religious beliefs, if you don't mind me saying. Like, my dog didn't have to leave this world because of your religious beliefs. Travis County, your religious beliefs. The government are full of religious freaks. She didn't have to die for your religious beliefs. The only redeeming factor would be that you cloned her and she's going to be returned to me. Not because I'm living in despair and not because I really need that to continue on, because I'll continue on, but I know the power in my God, and my God does not like the separation of life and death. And all of people's religious beliefs are death cults, separating life and death. And we need to think bigger. We need to think bigger now. And she was the next. It's like funny because my grandfather died when I was 18. So that would have been how long ago? 18 minus 35. Sometimes I forget how old I am. I'm 35. 18 minus 35. Okay, that my grandfather was the last death in my life that really transformed it in a big way. That's not a lot, you know. People experience a lot more death than I have. And the world changed when he left, but he came to me in a dream and he was like, I got a body on standby. My dog died, and then I tend to feel like this didn't have to happen. Not because I'm living in despair, but I'm like, whoever fucking killed her, I hope you cloned her, and I hope she's returned to me. God's will be done. She's returned to me. Not because I'm like entitled, but I just, like, death and life just doesn't, lately, it doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe if I experienced a lot more death, I would accept defeat. Maybe people that are experiencing a lot of death, you're accepting some kind of defeat. Me personally, I'm like, I haven't experienced death in a very long time. I'm not going to accept defeat. I'm going to, like, think higher and think bigger and think that this world can be transformed by love and technology and science. And I'm not accepting this, scenario. And if it wasn't the way I'm thinking, then God's will be done. I'm going to be happy because my love and devotion is to Jesus Christ, and everything that he did for us on the cross, everything that he poured out into this world so that we didn't have to experience the nonsense that we experience. I'm going to put my faith in Jesus Christ 100,000%. And I'm not going to go back on that for any other religion. But all these other religions, all these people I love that are subscribing to different religions, it's just not the end of the story. Like, it's just not the way it's supposed to be. Because I think higher, because I think bigger, because I think I am not bound by the biology and the elements of this world. I'm thinking bigger. And I think all of this was to plant a seed. When I got my dog, she was like the first reward after leaving such a horrible situation. She was like the first reward that was like, things are going to be okay from now on. Things are going to be good from now on. And I always thought something could happen to her. And I hoped it wasn't a broken bone because that would be so hard for her. Death is easy. You know what I mean? Like, death is very easy. But there's also something more to the story that we don't quite understand, that I put my faith in God that he knows better than I know. And that goes for all of your loved ones who have passed. Something else could become reality if you just think bigger, if you just get out of religiosity and out of the mindset of death cults. Even Christianity, even though Jesus is my Lord and he's the redeemer of all life, Christianity still has a lot of satanic elements to it. I don't have to die to be reunited with my dog. I don't have to leave my loved ones along to be reunited with my dog and leave them. No, something else should. And it, like, most people can't even like think about it. Like, oh no, this is so crazy. Maybe think crazy. Dude, I'm crazy for a reason, because I've been gifted with the ability to think as crazy as I do. We don't need all of this separation by death and separation amongst each other by religion and all our religious beliefs. Athena's name could have been Mercy. It was going to be Athena or Mercy, and Mercy represented God's mercy. She was my greatest gift after going through hell with all these satanic Jews and the shit they were doing to me. I finally got out of their grips, and I finally created a life. My home is not owned by them. My job is not owned by them. And my clients are not owned by them. So now I'm in an economy that is completely separate from the satanic Jewish economy. I no longer live in an apartment building that's owned by people who have never been here. Just like Saudi Arabians buying our apartment complexes and then gentrifying the area, I am no longer part of that situation. I'm no longer a part of that economy. I'm in an economy with people that I pay money to because they're good people. And my clients pay money to me because they're good people. And I got the dog because she was representing God's love and God's mercy. And she was my best friend. I mean, until you like lose, sorry, a loved one or like a best friend, you realize how much sorry, your brain is connected to that soul. Sorry. Your brain is so connected to that soul, to that person, to that animal. And all day long, it's like you realize how much your brain is associated with the people that you love, your loved ones. All day long, it's like getting better, but it's like all day long, your brain associates with a dog. So your brain is constantly like dog, and then your other brain is like no dog. She's not here. And it's just not the way it's supposed to be. And like, you know, some people in their religious beliefs, like old world, I mean, we're coming to the end of the Bible where it's a new heaven and a new earth. I mean, you've heard all about aliens and all this weird shit. And like, my grandfather came to me in a dream and he was like, dude, I was always gonna come back. I had a body on standby. Like, I was always gonna come back. In the Bible, it says, the dead in Christ shall rise. Dude, we need to think bigger, you know? Like, this world is so 3D and so nonsense. We need to think bigger. Whoever took my dog, I suspect they cloned her, because you can't just do that. That dog was so anointed. Her meaning had so much value. It's just not the way God intended it. We need to think bigger and higher. And it will be okay. Thanks, Pookley. It will be okay. That's the whole thing. Like, it's gonna be okay. I don't live in despair over it. It just makes me curious about what is possible. And then it reminds me of the last time I lost a loved one. My grandfather came to me in a dream and he was like, I had a body on standby. I was always gonna come back. You know, it's like the people of love. The people of love. People die all the time, but did they really love their consort? I really love my consort. I really want to protect my consort. You know, we're going back to, like, I guess in terms of like Greek gods and stuff, they would consider their consort. Your consort is your soul family. Yeah, Athena is still with me in spirit. Physical expression is gone. Yeah, she's definitely still. But at the same time, like, while we're in this moment, I chose personally to not hold on. That was one of the first decisions that I had to make, was, do you choose to hold on to an animal? Because I've lost animals tragically in the past, and I chose to hold on, but it was bad for my mental health. So in this scenario, I chose, like, I found her body, it was dead. I buried her dead bones in the ground. That is not her. And I didn't hold on to her blankie. I didn't hold on to whatever. I was just like, I'm going to let the dead be dead. I'm going to let her be gone. And the spirit lives on, and I'm not even going to be super OCD about the spirit. But I'm going to reflect upon God's word, and I'm going to reflect upon God's promises, and I'm going to think higher about what's possible. And while I don't have investment, because I have no physical reason to believe in the investment of the dog being returned, I'm still going to think higher. I'm still going to give it to God, and I'm still going to think higher and bigger and different. And you know, that's easy for me because I experience a lot of weird stuff in this world. I experience a lot of weird situations that would absolutely defile people's beliefs. And that's a problem, because when you are quote unquote victimized by such outstanding beliefs, you then begin to encroach upon other people's beliefs to the point where you can't even speak freely. That's a problem also. Like, all of the programs, situations that I've been subject to, I can't even, like, speak freely to those. I can on my channel, and I do. Don't get me wrong, I do. It's like you can't even speak freely to the victimization, even though you're not a victim, about the shit that's happened to you. And that's what brings us together. There's all these people in the world who experience the same thing, but we're deluded by 99% of the people who, like, can't handle that. Like, I've been cloned, other people, like, can't handle that. You know what I mean? You've been cloned, you know, you're in a super soldier paradigm. Other people can't handle that. Sorry about you. I personally, on my channel, will not just accept defeat. I'm not just going to live in your 3D paradigm. There are problems that are happening to me and to a lot of people because of some weird shit that other people can't even believe is going on. But it's going on regardless of what other people believe. And I love us because we connect with each other because we know that this is happening. And we can convene with each other about what is happening to us, not as victims, but just observing. This is all observance. It's all like interesting. It's all learning. It's all research. We're not victims. We're just learning and researching and observing our own freaking lives. It's the problem with, like, I need to go. Sorry, that's it. I need to go. That's it. Because I could continue on for so long. That's it. Gotta go. Love y'all. You're the right kind of people. Love y'all so much. Have a beautiful night. I'll talk to you again really soon.